Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to the Friday morning warm-up number 108, and I promise we won't do any physical exercises this morning, just mental ones and musical ones. Good. Right, let's get started and we'll go straight to the clapping session. So first of all, let's get that up on the screen. We've got well, it might be familiar to you, a rhythm on the screen there, 2-bar rhythm, which we'll repeat. And it's sometimes known as the Boogaloo rhythm, and it's also known as a reverse bossa nova. That's because if you swap the 2 bars around, you get the clave pattern, which is often played on a bossa nova record by the drummer. Okay, just to help, because I know we're not all sight readers, I've just put the beats underneath the position of the beat in the bar. So very slowly, that would be obviously a rest on beat 1. It would be 1, 2, 3. So the end of 3 says 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So that's the idea behind that, of course. I know we've been doing this for years, but I just thought I'd put the actual beat numbers underneath this time. Okay, let's get going. Put the metronome up and do clap along. Are you ready? Just for a minute. 1, 2, oh, it's a bit quiet. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2. Last time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. There we go. Boogaloo is just a form of jazz that came out in the 60s, a kind of a simplified, very rhythmic form of jazz, and one of the big sort of hits, as it were, in the period was the Sidewinder by Lee Morgan. And if you listen to Billy Higgins, the drummer, on his snare drum, he's hitting that rhythm. It's quite quick, but he's hitting that boom ba 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 dum 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 dum. And it was quite common on those 60s sort of jazz tunes to put that rhythm in to give it that kind of groove that they were after. Okay, if you'd like to grab your instruments, we'll make some noise. Make some harmonic noise as opposed to rhythmic noise. The key we're basically centering on today is B flat major. We'll be looking at triads later on. So let's just play the note concert B flat for just a minute, just to get things moving. Tuning up. Do use your own tuners, don't rely on me, although I think I'm in tune. 1, 2, 3, 4. I always feel like that's the most sort of trance-like part of the morning, but nevertheless. Okay, let's just move on now to the chromatic scale. So we're going to be starting on concert B flat. So of course that's C for the B flat instruments and G for the E flat instruments, and we're just going to do our usual thing of just going up from concert B flat up to the octave and down again. after 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Well, I hope that was good. Okay, let's crank it up a little bit. Actually, quite a lot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do a couple more. So we're going to go up to 150. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more, nice and quick. 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, good. Phew, right, take a breather and give me a second to read the message that's come flying through. I hope it's not critical. Oh, it's something about the proms. Right, thanks Richard. Okay, something that I did very briefly, I don't know if it was last week or a couple of weeks ago. I'm just going to do it again. All I'm going to do, and this is for your ears. This is just, well, it's all for your ears really, isn't it? 'Cause it's the most important tool you've got. But I'm just going to play, just slowly, 5 notes, one at a time. And I just want you to get your instrument and just see if you can play that note. Not by hunting for it and sliding up and down the instrument, but just see if you can hit it bang on. I'll give you a couple of seconds after each note. So here we go. It doesn't matter if it's an octave above or below, because that depends on the range of your instrument. But just see how you get on. Just 5. Here we go. First note. Okay, next one. Next one. Next one. One more. Okay. You don't have to tell me your results, but although I would be interested to know if you found that easy or straightforward or blimey, nowhere near. It's not easy. It's not easy because the notes were fairly sort of jumping up and down and different intervals. And I always do believe that people who play pianos and guitars, I shouldn't say they're at a disadvantage, but their notes are there made for them. And so they don't use their ears quite so much to get the note, to find the note. Whereas other instruments, you do have to use your ear to actually pitch it in the first place. So, and you might have had a lot more practice hitting notes you've already heard in your head. So anyway, any comments on a postcard, I'd be interested to hear. Right, I think we need to move on now to the instrument sheet. So if you'd like to get that up in front of you, and as I've mentioned, we're going to be looking at the triads, the 3-note chords in this particular key, which is concert B flat major, and so it's C major for the B flats and G major for the altos. So B flat major, concert B flat. I'll talk in B flat for now. And when we're talking about triads, we're really talking about the 3-note, the simple chords, the root, the third, and the fifth, which are created by harmonizing the scale. And what we mean by harmonizing is you take your major scale, for example, and there it is on the left hand side in bar 1, and you take the root, the third and the fifth, starting on the root note of the scale, and you'll get your first chord in the scale. And then for the second note, the second triad or chord of the scale, you take the second note, and it will be then the second, the fourth and the sixth of the scale, but it's still the first, the third and the fifth of that particular chord, and so on, and you end up with a set of 7 triads. But anyway, that's just a brief explanation of harmonizing a scale. You can take any scale and take the root, third and fifth, starting on ever increasing notes, and you'll be able to harmonize that scale into a set of triads. So we'll look at that in a minute. First of all, let's just play the scale itself, and probably for the first time I've shown it going up to the 12th, just for a bit of a change. And we've done 2 octaves, we've done 1 octave. Sometimes if your instrument range doesn't allow you, or your experience doesn't allow you to do a 2 octave scale, it's still good to just play a kind of like a 1.5 octave one. Go up to the 12th. The 12th is like the 5th of the next octave. So, and when I say 12, I just mean you count up 12 notes. So just for the sake of example, we've gone up to the 12th on this one. So we're going to play the first 2 bars of B flat major going up to the 12th. And in quavers, as you can see. So here we go. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Seems like it finishes in a funny place, doesn't it? But it's worth trying that. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Up to the 12th. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, let's do the next 2 bars. So this is coming down from the 12th. If your instrument only went up that high, then that's as high as you can start. Right, bars 3 and 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ending on an offbeat. Let's do that again. 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. And as tradition would have it, we'll play the whole top line, so including the rest, of course. So you've got that. We're going to play it as a 4-bar piece of music. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Descending. Last time. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Right, what's the major scale that's going to be the basis of the triads that we're going to now look at? So we're just going to work our way slowly through them. And there are 7 notes in a major scale, so you're going to get 7 different triads, or 7 different chords. And they've got names which we've used in the past. So we're looking at the next line, or next 2 lines actually, which show you the individual notes as arpeggios. So harmonizing each of the chords, and we'll just go through these. I won't play them all 3 times, perhaps just play them twice. I'll I'll keep the metronome going on quietly in the background. Okay, so we're going to do the first one now. So this is the root, third and fifth starting on the tonic, on the root note of the scale. So the root, third and fifth, and this will be your B flat major triad, or C or G, but apologise for the other keys. I think you should have it written in front of you. Okay, after 4, 2, 3, 4. Just the first one. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you can hear that major sound. I hope. Good. Moving on to the supertonic. And it's supertonic because super means above, and it's just above the tonic. So let's just do that second one. So, but we're on numerically bar 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's the supertonic. Moving on to the third one now, the third degree of the scale. So we're taking the third degree and going up to the root, taking that as the root, going to its third and fifth. We get, because of the way that the major scale lies, it turns out that the third is a minor third. So we've got another minor chord. So let's play the third one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, they're getting higher. Here we go, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a couple of minors there. We're on to the fourth degree now, and we did this last week, didn't we? The subdominant. So this is the fourth degree. By the way, median, I think, is called median just because it's somewhere in the middle, but who knows. Again, answers on the postcard, please. Subdominant, because it's just below the dominant. These are just ways of remembering the names. Fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's got a major third, so it's a major triad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, on to the next line, the all-important dominant triad. 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we go up to the sixth degree, and we're back to another minor chord here. So it's good to learn the actual sequence: major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. Okay, just recite that to yourself a few times just before you nod off at night. So sixth degree after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So far we've had major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. And we're on to the seventh and final one. The eighth one is simply a repeat of the first one. On to the seventh one, the leading tone, leading because it's just before the semitone below the tonic. And the way the notes fall in the scale is that this one turns out to be a diminished triad. It's the only one. And a diminished triad is one where the first interval between the two notes is a minor third, and so is the second. So it's up a minor third, then up another minor third to go from the root to the third to the fifth. If you, just to remind you, I think you probably know this, but major triads are a major third plus a minor third on top. And the minor triads are a minor third on the bottom, in other words, going from the root to the third, and then a major third going from the third to the fifth. That's a lot of thirds. Okay, but the diminished one is unique in that it's a minor plus a minor. What you'll notice is missing is the augmented third, and that doesn't occur in major scale harmony. The augmented third, if you see that, it's come from a different planet. It's come from one of the melodic minors. One of the minor scales. It doesn't come out of a major scale harmony. So anyway, we've got the 7th leading tone here. So let's just play that. This is the 7th degree of the scale. Might have diminished. 1, 2, 3, 4. It sounds completely different, doesn't it? And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that one more time because it's a little bit different. And 1.
You're on the wrong string, David.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm just looking at the wrong fret numbers. Let's do that. Sorry about that. Let's do that again. And 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Good. So that's the diminished triad, and that does actually resolve to a tonic. It's not important today in what we're doing, but just out of interest, it does resolve to the tonic, that harmony. And the reason being is because if you dissect a dominant 7th chord from the 5th, so the 5th of the key, that diminished triad is on top of the root note. I haven't explained that very well. If you went back to the F major, concert F major, and you look at the first two, the 3rd and the 5th of the F major, you've got the first 2 notes of that diminished triad. And then if you go up to the 7th of an F major, which will be E flat, you'll get the top note of the diminished one. Right, I'll explain that on another occasion. Right, let's move on, and we're going to look at exercise number 1 now, which is really just taking the same triads and putting them into an exercise, a warm-up exercise. This is a classic warm-up exercise. It's going up the triads in a pattern which you would have heard plenty of times if you had somebody practicing in the other room. You might have done it yourself. I'm sure some of you have. So we're just going to, next 2 lines we're going to do exercise number 1, so 8 bars, and we're just going to work our way up those triads slowly in a form which you will, as I say, recognize. So the actual pattern is to go up the triad, then back to the root note, the first note of that triad, so in other words root, 3rd, 5th, root, and then repeat the whole thing in the next bar for the next triad going up the scale. If you're a reader, just read it. If you're trying to do it by patterns, then have a think about it. And it's one of those patterns you can just increase the speed of as you practice it. So here we go. So all 2 lines of exercise number 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wrong note right at the end. Good. Okay, I hope that worked okay for you and you didn't get that weird note on the end. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Gosh, well, I won't go any faster because I was on the edge of my concentration there. So, good. That's always something you can use in your warm-ups for the rest of the week. But don't do it instead of physical exercise. That's always a priority. Right. We were talking about that earlier, which is, if some of you came into the conversation afterwards, we were talking about other sorts of warming up in the morning, physical exercise and other things. Okay, on to exercise number 2 now. So we're doing the same 7 triads, except we're going to do them not only descending the triad, but yeah, 5th, 3rd root, but also coming down the scale, starting on that 12th note, the 12th of the scale. And so on. Yeah, okay, so exercise number 2 to the end. Probably a less familiar pattern, but still sounds like somebody warming up in the other room. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I hope that was okay for you. Let's do that again. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's do that for one more time, same speed, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4. Good. Right, well, there's something you can work on. It's good for all sorts of reasons. It's good to hear the harmony, to get familiar with the triads, also the intervals that are involved, the thirds particularly. It works melodically, even if you were to use it in an improvised solo, not for 8 bars perhaps, but it's used in compositions. It's good for, as I say, ear training as well. So, and also for your fingers, if you're a guitarist, it gets your fingers to move in directions that you probably haven't gone before. By covering all the scales, all the permutations are achieved. So good. Right, okay, well, of course we will come back to that in a few weeks' time, no doubt, on in a different key. Excellent. Right, let's just finish off with our traditional little bit of strumming. And right, astute amongst you, or those of you that have played through this already, may recognize this chord sequence. And now the reason I've put this here is so that it covers a lot of the triads which are in the key we're working on. And if you wanted to practice those triads over those chords, please do. On the other hand, if you just wanted to practice improvising using the key itself, the major scale, that would work nicely, or just play some other form of harmony through it, or voice leading perhaps. The chord sequence, although it's not in the right key of course, is from Pachelbel's canon in D. So, except it's not, it's in B flat. But right, here we go anyway. Last couple of minutes, let's just set the old egg timer going, and I'll do it a little bit more slowly. Mind you, it's quite a slow tune anyway, isn't it? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 2 bars of each. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, Actually, I'm going to do 1 bar of each now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next line. Back to the beginning. One more time through, back to the top, and finish on the first chord. There we go. If we do all the keys, eventually we will play the Pachelbel's canon in the correct key at this stage. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for coming along, and it's been good to see you all, and we'll be back next week with another topic. Lovely. Maybe one we've done before, maybe not.
Thank you,
right.
David.
Yeah, go and mute yourself if you want, and say goodbye.
Bye.